I'm Ariana Grande.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Erivo.
And you're listening to the Broadway Podcast Network.
Visit bpn.fm to discover more.
There's a cat over here. There's a cat over there. And the wrong one died. And the wrong one died.
Welcome to The Wrong Cat Died, the podcast breakdown of the catastrophe. I'm your host, Mike Abrams, and today we have another amazing guest. He was Alonzo on the U.S. National Tour 4 for multiple years, and then he brought his Alonzo to Broadway and the original production. So welcome, General McArthur Hambrick, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you for the invitation.
I'm excited to have you here because I love the tour to Broadway kind of like path. You know, you get to go around the country and do it for multiple years, and then you get to go on to the Winter Garden, you know, on the biggest stage. But before we get to the tour and all the fun and all the craziness, I always love to hear, especially for someone, I mean, you were doing this before the 1998 movie, which is what most people now always reference. So what was your introduction to Cats as a musical?
Well, mine's a funny story because I had not seen it. I hadn't heard about it because I wanted to be a concert performer.
Okay.
So I was a concert dancer, like dancing forward ballet. Then I started dancing in a modern company in Dallas, Texas. I'm from Fort Worth, Texas, by the way. And I started dancing with a modern company, and my stage manager came up to me one day and said, Cats is coming through town. I said, what? And because they used to do auditions in each city, not each city, but some cities they would go to. That was a big city that had dance. So they did an audition in Dallas when they were in Dallas. And my stage manager said, you should go. And so I missed work that day and went to the Cats audition at the State Fair Music Hall in Dallas, Texas. And I guess it was about 50 guys. It was all male audition. And so I went to that audition, and out of 50 people, they kept two of us. Just two out of 50. And that at that time, I don't know if you've heard of Stanley Lebowski. He was the musical director at the time. And not long after the audition, he passed away. And so I just thought I wasn't going to get the show because he really liked me. The reason I know that because there was an article in the local newspaper talking about the tall black guy that auditioned for the show. And so months later, I got a call from the Gatchling Neufeld. Yeah, I think that's what the name of it was. The production producers.
Okay.
But anyway, they called and said, hey, can you come and audition for our new musical director? And so they flew me out to California. I think it was California to audition. And it was several of us there. And after that, I got the show. And that's how I got the National 4 company.
So you basically went with no knowledge of what you were signing up for. It's just, hey, here's this audition about Cats. And you've never seen it, barely ever heard of it. And you go in with 50 other guys.
Yeah, because I'm in musical, you know, in the summer times I do musical theater. I've heard of the show, but I know nothing about it. And my friend said, you should audition for Mistopheles. And then I said, after I found out more about the show, I said, he's a little guy usually. So no, I won't be auditioning. So they saw me as like, at the beginning, they saw me like as a Monka Strap, Alonzo, that group of people. But when I got the show, when I got the Ford National, it was Alonzo.
Yeah.
So, and understudy Rum Tum Tugger.
Because you're taller. So like that's a big difference in the show where there is like, you know, you can't have a 6-foot Mistopheles. Like that's just not going to be allowed.
Exactly.
So that kind of almost limited. No matter how great you could do the turns and the dance, you're too tall for Mistopheles.
Yeah, because I was very balletic. I was that was my. I went to TCU as a dance major, ballet strictly, and so that's why my friend said that. Audition for Mistopheles. They'd say, nope, wrong character.
Yeah, you could have been the tallest Mistopheles ever, probably, if you ever understudied it.
Right.
That's okay. So they fly you out. Nothing happens in Texas, right? Like you audition, you get to the final two, but then since he passes away, they're stopping in and doing these auditions, but they're not bringing you on tour. They fly you back out, and then do you come in part way, or do you start a full new year?
What do you mean?
For the tour 4? Because it's been multiple years, right?
Yeah, I was in the original tour.
Okay, 4. Original tour 4.
Yeah, that was the third national that was in Dallas.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't make that.
No, that makes that makes more sense.
That was the third national that was in Dallas, and they were auditioning for the new fourth national.
Okay, that makes a ton. Yeah, because the 3 to 4, so the tour numbers. None of them make sense to me.
Oh,
anymore,
I know.
Anyways, I'm starting to figure it out, but I knew 3 was like the first time it really went on tour, really around the United States, and then 4 started, and then 5 was an equity tour that went for like 15 years, and then 6 now was pre-pandemic, and then currently, and it's the U.S. tours have they're interesting numbers, but okay, so you get it, and you're in this first group that's going out on tour.
And I might add this too, because a lot of those people in National 4 had come from the LA company.
Okay.
Because it was closing.
Yeah.
Or it had closed already. I don't remember exactly. But that's why I got to work with people who had done it in LA, and we got to be really good friends.
Yeah. So that was going to be my next question for you, which is I love hearing a little bit about that initial rehearsal process, and especially about the learning the story. So you're joining a group that knows the story, or at least it's kind of like, some of them have known it, and some of them have like kind of created their own relationships and stuff from doing it. But then there's also the sit down. I kind of always think of it like a campfire circle where you're getting to be told this like horror story. And then you have to kind of then build these pieces in, especially for you as Alonzo. You also play the Rumpus cast. You have some other stuff. You're understudying Tugger. What was that experience like, and what do you remember from it?
Well, like I said, there were only a few. It wasn't the whole LA company.
Yeah.
It was just like a few here and there. The dance captain was actually from the LA company, Lee Webster.
Okay.
And when we first got to rehearsal, I think it was 2 of us maybe, because they say, who has never seen the show before? Because they were going to give us tickets to go see the Broadway company since we were rehearsing at 890 Broadway, the big rehearsal studio at that time. And so I think it was 2 of us, me and a really good friend of mine now.
Only 2 of you had not seen it?
Had not seen it. And so they, during the rehearsal process, we would crawl around, and they wanted us to get used to like acting like we were cleaning ourselves or cleaning each other and that kind of, strangers. We never met each other. We're like rubbing against each other. So it was challenging at times. And me with my kind of silliness, I started to laugh a little bit because I had never done anything like that before. And I just remember T. Michael Reed said, if you think this is funny, you shouldn't be here. And that was it. For the rest of the time, I took that show so seriously, sometimes almost too seriously, because I really got into the character of Alonzo, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But that first rehearsal, I had to get used to that because I'd never done any of that improvisational type work before, because I was a ballet major. You know, you're told what to do every time.
Yeah. It's very precise.
Yeah. Because I didn't study musical theater in college.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was new.
So the 2 of you go to the show. I'm surprised they didn't just send everybody. What was your...
Well, they gave everybody the opportunity.
Okay.
But if you wanted to go see it, you could go see it. But
what was that first viewing like?
Truthfully?
Yeah.
I looked at my friend and said, is this what I'm doing?
Yeah.
So it was a shock, because I had never seen it before. But it's one of those shows that it's more fun to do, I think, than to watch, especially for your first time, because it is confusing to some people when you first see it for the first time. But I will say the dancing blew me away.
Yeah.
Because I always think Gillian's Lynn choreography, it was like a cross between modern and ballet and jazz, you know. And it was very balletic, which fit my body. So I think that's part of the reason I got the show, because I was from a ballet company.
Yeah. Wow. So you're walking out of that theater going, what did I sign myself up for? You're having, it
was pretty wild.
And did you like overwatch the Alonzo? Like, were you like trying to kind of hone in on where?
I was exactly doing that. Matter of fact, when we got into rehearsals, really deep into rehearsals and everything, and the whole thing just began to take over your body pretty much. And I was wondering, I said, okay, there used to, I don't know if you know this, but the original Broadway company, Alonzo did a shadow dance behind Demeter and Bon Ballerina.
Okay.
It kind of like in the shadows, and he did this thing, kind of mimicking them and doing extensions and stuff. I couldn't wait to learn the shadow dance, you know? So I got to rehearsal and it wasn't happening. So I finally got up enough nerves, and I went up to T. Michael Reed and said, am I going to learn the shadow dance? And he said, we don't do that on the tour.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I wanted to do it so bad because it was all about extensions and developers, and it was beautiful to watch the guy on Broadway do it.
And did you eventually get to do it on Broadway,
I did.
though? Yeah,
I did. Eventually. That was so it's a full circle kind of thing. So, yeah.
Okay. Now, I want to go back to your rehearsal now. You've seen the show. You watched it. You're wondering with your friend, what did we sign up for? You're now serious. You're not laughing anymore.
Right.
But when they start telling you the story, what did they tell you that you need to know about Alonzo? Like, what was it? You got to play these relationships. This is because he's not the most well-written character. Like, there's not a ton like there is with some of the other characters.
Exactly. And that's what I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I don't remember if something that I made up, if something that Richard Stafford or T. Michael Reed told me at the time, but I knew that Alonzo wanted to be Monkestrap.
Okay.
I wanted to follow in Monkestrap's footsteps and eventually take that space. And that's why during the big fight, where he comes to take Demeter, tries to take Demeter away, McCavity tries to take Demeter away. I'm right there helping Monkestrap, helping him fight McCavity to keep him from taking Demeter away again. I guess, you know. And so that was my main focus during Alonzo. I said I wanted to be like this Monkestrap. I wanted to take his place one day.
Okay. That
was my whole storyline. And I was very good friends with, which I hadn't heard any of your other guests say, but I was very good friends with Cassandra because we danced together. It was even one part during the, I think it was during the ball when I would do a lift with her that was similar to the lift that Plato does with Victoria.
Yeah.
But so I was trying to be this macho Alonzo because I wanted to eventually, like I said, take over the tribe, hopefully, or be the leader.
Yeah. So those make sense. Was there any other relationships that you tried to like lean into? So there's obviously the dance with Cassandra. There's wanting to be Monkestrap. There's probably a little bit with Demeter because of that moment of her being kidnapped. What else was it like? Did you just get to kind of play around with certain characters? Was it certain friendships that you had off stage that turned into on stage kind of friendships?
Yeah, you hit it right on the head because Pouncible was a really good friend outside of the theater. So I always treated him like my little brother on stage. And we get in trouble sometimes, actually, because I don't know if you know this, but every once in a while, the dance captain or the supervisors would come in and surprise us. So Pouncible and I had this little thing that every now and then we would do this big jeté off stage, because that was the great thing about cats. They wanted you to don't do the same show every night. How you get to this space, as long as you're there at the time you're supposed to be there, how you get there didn't really matter. It wasn't like you had to do this. So I like that kind of improvisational part of it.
Yeah.
But Pouncible and I, we had this thing where we like to do a big jeté off the stage in one of our exits. And I remember Richard coming in and saying, "Don't do that." Not very cat-like. So we got in trouble that night.
Yeah, they're like you can do a different thing, but not too far. Just a little too far.
Don't go too far, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And then my relationship with Cassandra was pretty throughout the show, because I don't know, we felt a closeness.
Yeah.
That I didn't feel with the other cats. And so that was it.
So one
Pretty
thing
much.
I think that's fascinating of having you did 4 years of the tour is you have a little bit of you have change every year. Like it's not all a full new cast, but not everybody stays for all 4 years. So did you notice a difference of the relationship with the next Pouncible or with the next Cassandra or with the next Monkish Trap? Like there's that kind of thought of the cat to cat, I should have this. But when you have different people, did you notice that those stories tweaked and evolved depending on who it was each year?
It did, and you're going to get me in trouble. But but sometimes like that it's very important though, because when you start with somebody, it's very different than trying to create that same thing with something new. However, with the Cassandra, that same feeling kept transferring from one to the other. And it was about 3.5 years actually.
Okay.
That stayed the whole 4 years. But but some of those relationships, like you said, didn't remain because I didn't feel like some of the people that came in later took it as serious as I did. And like I said, after that first day of that laughing moment, I really took it seriously because I felt like we were a family.
Yeah.
And that family happened off stage and on stage. And so sometimes when people didn't take it, and some people, came in because it was good money.
Yeah.
And then you start treating it like a job, like I feel some people do.
Yeah.
And so it loses something. But
it is such an interesting part of musical theater is that it is a job. At the end of the day, it's a career and a job. And,
exactly.
And you're performing, and there's going to be some characters that you relate to and some that you don't, and some shows that are like really you're a huge fan of, and others you might not be. And at the end of the day, you're probably going to take some of those jobs if they're good money in there. So I feel like it's one of those things, and Cats is so polarizing that there's got to be, I've interviewed a few. And if you listen back to the catalog of people, you can hear the people who are like, they were there because it was a really great opportunity and they had fun with it and they made the most of it, but they don't think about this show ever at all. And there's others who are fans and this was a dream show and they were so excited to do it or fell in love with it as they were doing it. And I'm like, I kind of get both sides of that because there's, with work I do, there are definitely times where I'm like, oh my God, this is the best day ever. And there are times I'm like, I just got to get through today, depending on what you're doing.
Yeah. And I think of this show as, like that first group, like I said, we're still friends to this day. We still have gatherings in New York. We still get together periodically. We just, it was a while ago. We had a big reunion in California, one of the understudies for Grisabella, her house. And all these people came from all over to come to be together again.
Yeah.
And we still do that, and yeah, because it was nothing like that first group of cats that we,
Yeah. Nothing like crawling around with strangers, like rolling on top of each other and trying to become best friends. It's like, it's such a unique piece. It's like, it is really, and then on tour you add the travel and all, like you have to almost become a family.
Right. And sometimes I would get, I think you mentioned Green Eyes one time, but that Green Eyes was really dangerous for me because I went a little crazy sometimes.
Scared too many people?
That was my worst injury. Yeah, my worst injury was doing Green Eyes because like I said, I thought I was a cat. I'm trying to be a cat. And I ran into like one of the seat handle, like the
armrests.
The armrests, thank you, with my thigh.
Oh.
And so my swing had to go on that night.
Wow.
When I got up to the stage, it started swelling. It was terrible.
Well, this is a perfect transition because I think one of the most fun things I've been able to pick up from this podcast is hearing funny, memorable stories from tour. Because seems wild. It seems like there's always, a show, you do it 8 times a week, you're in different cities all the time, you're moving around. Nothing's always going to go perfect. So what do you remember? What are some of the funny stories you remember from your years of doing the show on tour?
I guess one of my favorites was when it's this one part where we turn around and look at Deuteronomy and he's singing the dressing up. Is it the dressing up cat? No, not the dressing. It's the end. This is this.
That's I think that's the dressing of cats. The beginning's the naming of cats, right?
Yeah. So anyway, we turn around and he says, so this is this and this is that. And then he couldn't remember the whole thing. No. So he had to, keep composure so the audience would see it. But I guess the stage manager saw our body shaking a little bit.
Wow.
But that was one of the funniest things. But what I was talking about earlier, I sometimes would get into being a cat a little bit too much. So I thought I could jump from one side, stage left. I thought I could jump from stage left and jump onto the tire. When we were in Buffalo, New York. That was early on in the tour, actually. And so I leapt towards the tire and hit my knee.
And didn't make it.
Didn't make it.
Yeah.
Didn't make it. So that was another story. And those are the things that I remember more clearly than anything else, I think.
That is very cat. There's a lot of videos on the internet of cats attempting to jump from one part to the other and not making it. Are you serious? Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. So that is very fitting for her for that.
That's funny.
So I would love to hear a little bit now going forward to Broadway. Actually, before we get to Broadway, when did you understudy Tugger? Did you get to go on for Tugger?
I did. I understudied Tugger on the road, on the tour. And a few times, because the guy who played Tugger was so strong that he hardly ever missed.
Yeah.
But it was one time, I think it was in Baltimore, Maryland, I got to go on for opening night.
Wow.
So that was the first time I'd been on for an opening night. And my voice is very high, so I didn't really understand what they meant, but they said I was a cross between Mick Jagger and Elvis Presley or something like that. I don't know. It was crazy. But that was the first review as Tugger I'd ever had. And that was a chance of a lifetime for sure. Because it was like, that's one of my favorite songs in the show is the Rum Tum Tugger song. Pop it,
So I guess it's such it's a very different character. Like if you want to be Monkish Trap and you're Alonzo, you got to be very together and animated. Like it's a much more structured cat, like in line. And then you go on and Tugger, who's just like, I don't care.
Don't
like,
care.
what is that as a performer? Like when you kind of were going in and doing Alonzo one night and then going on to do Tugger the next, like, did you do anything different to get your mind ready to go out and be Tugger and be Mick Jagger and Elvis? Or did you, was it just another night of work?
Oh, no, it's definitely had to go in a different direction because I had to put on my sexy.
Yeah.
Because I played Alonzo a little bit that way as well. But with Tugger, I had to be more of a flirt with the ladies. And so I took that a little more to a more masculine side, and really concentrated on more testosterone, trying to make everybody look at me, or see me, especially when you got the chance to go and dance with somebody in the audience.
Yeah.
Because that was like one of my favorite parts.
Yeah. Did you ever have any wild experiences with that? Like, because that's kind of a wild card of you're going out there, you don't know, you're trying to probably guess who's going to be the most open to this.
Right. I didn't, but a couple of times our Tugger, they wouldn't get up. They just wouldn't get up. And so it kind of ruins it a little bit.
Yeah.
You try to go to somebody else, but then it's time to go back up on stage.
Yeah. I was always wondering, did you look around when you're going there? Like, who's going to stand?
Oh, yeah. That was one of those things during the whole first part. I'm like trying to figure it out because I'm one of those kind of people I hardly ever look in the audience.
Mm-hmm.
But when I went on the Tugger, I had to.
Yeah.
I had to because I wanted to make sure I had somebody in mind. Or every now and then, the stage manager, was it the stage manager or the dance captain would say, I think we got somebody over here. Why don't you look at this person? They would help us out like that as well.
Like they look like they're ready to go.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely a group. Like I'm the opposite audience member. I'm like, I don't want to be in part of it. Like Green Eyes bothered me. I'm like, no, get away from me. Like I just want to watch. And there are a couple shows, like there's a show now currently on Broadway that does this, and where they pick one person, and I'm always like, man, is it the same seat every night? I gotta remember never to buy that seat. And I'm like, no, it's you're looking for someone who you think will have a good time with it.
Yeah. And bringing Green Eyes back into the conversation, I do remember one more funny thing when I was doing it on Broadway. Actually, I know you're going to talk about Broadway later, but when I was doing it on Broadway, the guy, they were going around, I think it was the guy who plays Tugger. But anyway, he went up to a guy, a lot of times it's tourists who've been walking all day, they fall asleep in the audience. And he went up into this guy's space, and the guy woke up and the
Swung.
fist went into because just out of
it's a reflex.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I was
that was
wondering.
fun.
I know I did hear a Tugger on the revival that got hit.
Oh, really?
By a kid. They like startled somebody and they slapped them basically.
Oh,
So yeah, it scared me. I wasn't on the aisle, thankfully. I wasn't ready for it. I didn't know it was coming.
Right.
And it jumped. And even the second time I knew it was coming, and I was in the last row of I think even the mezz or maybe even orchestra. And I didn't know that they were going to climb above my head. So, I was like, none of this is, and I was ready that time. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back for more of The Wrong Cat Died. Okay, now let's talk Broadway. So I want to hear, what was that transition like? Like, how did you finish the tour and get the call? Did you audition again? What was that experience?
I moved out after tour. I moved out to LA because I wanted to do film and television.
Okay.
Didn't work out.
Okay.
I ended up doing more musical, like I did Chorus Line and did something else. But I thought that I was going to be set up out there. And then I get a call. You want to come do Broadway? Because Scott Taylor, I think his name was. Anyway, had a knee injury. So they needed somebody quickly to come and take his place while he went to get surgery. And I said, oh, I don't know. Because I just wasn't sure, because I just moved out there like 5 months ago or something like that. And so maybe it was longer than that, maybe 6 months. But I said, okay, I'm not going to get this opportunity again.
Yeah.
So I say, yeah, I'll do it. And so I went to Broadway, and the only thing that took me by surprise, I had forgotten, because on the tour, Alonzo does Rumpus Cat. I don't know if you knew that, but on tour, Alonzo does the Great Rumpus Cat.
Yep.
Okay. But on Broadway, he doesn't. But that means I had to learn a new part, which is Peaks in the Pollicle.
Yeah.
Peaks in the Pollicle. So I'm not and then I had to learn how to tap as well. I mean, I'm a tapper, but I'm not a great tapper. So I had to put on my tap shoes again and really learn how to tap for the Jenny Any Dots number.
Okay, so they basically added, because it is different, and you also got to do your shadow dance. Because I did notice that you're credited in the tour for Alonzo and Rumpus Cat,
right?
But it wasn't the same on Broadway. So I actually didn't realize that it's just because you don't do that number. You're doing a whole different one. So you had to learn. You knew most of the show, but there's still new stuff you got to pick up, and you can't just go in a night later.
Right. I'm sorry. I said Peaks and Pollicles. I already knew Peaks and Pollicles. It was Jenny Any Dot. It was the
tap
number. That's the one I didn't know. Yeah.
Okay.
I had to learn the tap number. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's all coming back.
Yeah. And then the shadow, how fun was that? Like, if that's something you remember, you asked about it and now you get to go do it. What was that like, learning that particular part?
I just loved it. Like I said, it's the chance to, I had really nice extensions and stuff. So it was a time for me to kind of go back into that ballet body and do that.
Yeah.
That kind of dance.
That's amazing.
And being behind the girls, that's an amazing part anyway. The whole Cavity song.
That number is amazing.
It's one of the best numbers in the show.
Yeah.
But
so is this Broadway debut?
It was.
Yeah. So first time Broadway debut, Winter Garden.
Yes.
What is that very first show performance like?
Amazing. It's hard to explain, because especially with cats, because I don't know, so many people you remind me of my cat. You make me think of my cat, your eyes or something, and that's like the best compliment you can ever get. But that first night when I walked out of that stage door and saw all those people waiting at the stage door, I said, oh my goodness, this is not going to happen again.
Yeah.
I mean, it happened on the road, on tour, but it's so different being at the garden where it started,
And you're in the middle of that. Like, it's been going for a handful of years now, but people know what they're going to see. It's not like a surprise anymore. Like, it's still like, it was a big production.
Oh yeah, it definitely was. And, so I would say that first night was very special to me and something I'll never forget.
Yeah.
So
I want to go a little off topic here, because I believe I saw you did Phantom then on Broadway later.
Yeah, that's what happened, because the producers, the company management, everything were so good to us and so loyal to us. And I would like to say that, Nina Lannon, Gatlin Neufeld, they were so good to us. And so when I was there doing Cats, when I was on the road, I came into the city, auditioned for Miss Saigon, because it's the same producers and everything. I didn't get it. But while I was there with Cats, they said, why don't you come and audition now? So they brought me over there with two guys, and I got the show after Cats. I got Miss Saigon. And then while I was in Miss Saigon, I talked to Mitchell Lemsky, who was like the director, associate director at that time of Miss Saigon. And I went up to him. I said, Mitchell, if the part for John ever opens up anywhere, please consider me.
Yeah.
And so after I had done Miss Saigon on Broadway, I did Phantom. They had an audition for Phantom because it's the same group of people.
Yeah.
They allowed me to give my notice in Saigon and move into Phantom tour. And so I went on tour with Phantom for a while. But then while I was out on the road with Phantom, Mitchell called and said, okay, the understudy's opening up on the tour of Miss Saigon. Do you want it? And I said, yes.
Wow.
And so I asked Saigon I asked Phantom if I could leave and go do Miss Saigon.
Yeah. I think what I'm curious about is going from Cats to Phantom, not in necessarily in order, but just having experiences with both being, big, real useful group shows. What's like, it's got to be like polarizingly different rehearsals and like it's such different shows, but still from the same person. Like, what is that like as an experience doing them both? And one you're crawling around and, in a unitard, and another you're doing this big operatic kind of show. Yeah,
it's very different. I mean, the of course Gillian Lynn did Phantom as well, and so I don't know if she remembered me or she knew my body. I have no idea. But when I got Phantom, the part of the slave master and Il Muto, which was the more balletic part, would swap places in one time. But Gillian Lynn decided that I was going to be slave master all the time. They changed the name since then. I think the name is something different now. But anyway, that role, she wanted me to do it all the time. Okay. So I did that. And then later on, as the tour went off, we would start to switch back and forth.
Yeah.
But learning, it was still very balletic, double tours and, soda basque and all that kind of stuff. And so that part of it was an easy transition because it was still that balletic style of movement that I'm so used to. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I want to do some rapid fire for the show.
Ooh,
so,
okay.
If you could go on to play one cat one night, whether it's male, female, whether you could do it, sing it, dance it, who would you want to go on as for one night?
I guess I'd have to say Monkeystrap.
Monkeystrap, true Alonzo. You're ready to take over.
To the end.
Yeah.
Because we just had the best Monkeystrap. He was so debonair and so powerful. And just, it was easy to want to be that in the show.
Yeah.
So
I love, as I've recorded 140 plus of these, that whenever I ask these rapid fire questions, almost without fail, the character influences the answer. It's like, no matter what I ask, it's like, oh yeah, because my next one's going to be your favorite and least favorite cat. And a lot of times they're like, I just hated this kid. But as Alonzo, I hated this character. But so I want to ask that for you but not as Alonzo, forget actors and actresses, forget performers, which cat, personality wise, would be your favorite? Who would be your best friend? And who would be the one you'd be like, oh my God, I can't stand this?
Who would be my best friend? Oh man, that's hard. I'd have to say Cassandra.
Yeah. So true. Sticking true. Okay.
Yeah.
What about least favorite? Who would drive you crazy?
That's hard because none of them drove me crazy.
No, there has to be one. It's the family, it's a family tribe, you've always got that one cousin or one where you're just like, oh, they're here today, or that one person that, that in the family, you still love them, you've got they're still your relative, but there's one that rubs you a little bit the wrong way.
I really can't. I decided to, but if I have to, do I have to?
Yeah.
Okay.
We gotta let off the hook. We gotta pick one.
Oh gosh. That's so hard. I don't know. Cause I liked all the cats. Even the characters. I don't know.
Okay.
I can't say that would get on my nerves. Yeah.
None.
Yes,
None.
that's
All
hard.
right, I'm gonna let you off the hook.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
What's your favorite song from the show?
Tugger.
Tugger. Yeah, it's a great one.
It's definitely my favorite song.
And it's got to be fun being able to. You got to do it.
Yeah,
being able
yeah,
to
yeah.
experience that live. Not
Yeah.
just as a spectator, but to go on and do it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anybody that was the most memorable that you got to dance with? Like somebody that like really leaned in when you were doing Tugger from the audience members?
From the audience
Yeah.
members?
You got the people to kind of get up and dance with you. Did anybody like really get into it?
Oh, yeah, I don't remember.
No? Okay.
That
Okay.
was too long ago.
Okay. So nobody that memorable. Got it.
No.
Okay. My fun one. I know you're a college professor. I believe West Virginia, right? So
Yeah.
which cat do you think would be the best college professor?
Oh, God. I'd have to say Jelly Laurel.
So I've had a lot of professors recently, a lot of teachers recently, and that's
Uh-huh.
been the most consensus answer. I think it's right. She's going to care for her students.
Yeah. The way she takes care of Gus is just, yeah. Those parts. You know what? You say favorite song. That was another song that really, I mean, sometimes I would find myself in tears watching that moment when she
Mhm.
sings to Gus, because it was just so beautiful how she took care of that old cat,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the other one I've always thought about was Jenny and Skimble would be like, Skimble might be the principal, but
I can see Skimble.
yeah, I think you're right though.
I can see Skimble.
Okay. $1 million question. Most important question of this podcast.
Oh, no.
I have argued at length that I don't think that Grisabella should be the right choice. So I want to know, are you going to defend her? If you're putting on your old Deuteronomy hat, are you defending her? Are you picking somebody else? Give me the rationale.
See, the way I think about it is that, like you said, he's going to make the ultimate decision, but I think he also respects what we feel as well,
Mm-hmm.
As the cat. And I'm sorry, but I have to say Grisabella. The reason, because when I first got the show, I looked at it as kind of, maybe it's the Christian thing inside of my head, but I looked at this as a redemption story.
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt like she was the one. And especially when she tries to do, you remember she tries to do the dance?
Yeah. Yep.
She's just trying to remember what it was like, but she fell. She
Mhm.
fell from grace, that kind of thing. And so that's the reason, I think, because she came back. And I don't think she came back because she knew that somebody was going to go to the Heaviside Lyra. I think she came back just because she wanted to be a part of the family again,
Yeah.
and the fact that she had the courage to come back and be ostracized and that kind of thing, I think she deserved it. I'm sorry to burst her bubble, but
Well, I think a lot.
I feel like the whole story is the whole show is about the redemption,
So,
that kind of thing.
I agree completely.
Mhm.
But this is where we slightly veer off differently,
Okay.
is because I fundamentally agree that the whole story is built around her redemption, her coming back, her being reaccepted into the tribe,
Mhm.
and her singing memory around that, and that's
Mhm.
really the what we're building towards.
Right.
But I think it depends on what you interpret as the Heaviside Layer.
Okay.
And so this podcast is called The Wrong Cat Died, because I interpret it as like, we're about to just murder. Like, we're about to murder the cat. And so I think the redemption arc is, or even if it's being reborn, I think the redemption arc has a better ending if she gets to stay with her family. Like, let her stay back with the tribe. Let her go next year. Give her a year to go to some birthday parties, have some fun, see her children that she abandoned.
Okay, I see.
So I think that story is still is there. It's still there, and I don't think you can get rid of it. I think it's a key part of the story.
Mhm.
I just don't think you reward her at the end with that. I think her reward is that she's welcomed back and she gets to spend time.
Okay. I think she gets both, though. She gets welcome back and she gets to go
Yeah,
to
but then
heaven.
she's immediately sent off. Like, That's like, hey, come on in. We're going to invite you to the party, and then we're all going to go back about our lives. Like, we're so excited you came back.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
I never looked at it like that, but I see where you're going with that.
So that's the reason I would send Gus. I think you do the whole story.
Because he's
ready to go. You do your whole story exactly as is. She sings Memory, and then you accept her back. You kind of have that line, but then it's like, okay, great. We're happy to have you back. You, Gus, you need it. You're not going to make it next year. If we don't send you soon, you're not going to make it another full year. You don't think that would be anticlimactic, though? Well, I mean, it depends on how you might have to add a line or two in there, you know? There's a way. I mean, my true vision would be, I would love this to be much more game show style and like let the audience vote and have it be performance based. Like, who delivered today? And let's have it a different cat each night. So you're thinking The Voice type show. And it's because my very first Grisabelle was Leona Lewis, so I was thinking X Factor. Okay. And so I know that that's where this stems from. But I'm like, that's a show. That's an interesting show. All right. Yeah. They've done it in Chorus Line. I know that in Chorus Line they've done it where they picked a different person each night. And so like it's possible. In Chorus Line? I believe there's a production in Chorus Line that did that, where each night. I've never heard of that one. Yeah. Oh my goodness. That's funny. I will accept your Grisabelle argument as much as I don't like it. That's fun. But it's fun to hear, the perspectives and everyone else. I agree with your choice. That I mean, for Gus to go. Yeah. My goal is to just slowly. Well, really, my goal was slowly to get everyone to agree with me. But now it's more of just like, I don't think people like your cast never talked about this. I promise that your cast never said, should Grisabelle be the choice tonight? Like, you probably never thought about that as a question. And now it's a question, and I'm proud of that. I mean, actually, I thought about it, but who knew that somebody was going to take it to the next level? No, I did not. I never would have thought, seeing the show in 2016, that we'd be here today. So. No, I think it's amazing, though. It's so great. It's a great thing to talk about. Yeah, that's what I'm here for, asking the hard questions about cats. Thank you so much for coming on. I know you have an album. How can people find your music? It's on iTunes. I did it a while ago, but it's called Chosen Generation. And if you want to hear some contemporary gospel, it's there. Amazing. Yeah, I'll try to link it in the description too. But thank you so much for coming on and sharing your stories and having some fun here. Thank you for the invite. This was super fun. So thank you. And thanks everyone for listening to this episode of The Rotten Cat Died, the podcast breakdown of the catastrophe. To follow along, you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else to listen to podcasts. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads at The Cat Died, or check our website, therowncatdied.com.